Hey everyone, welcome to Wolpin's Gaming Den. Today we have another unboxing for you guys. We'll be unboxing the game Honey Buzz, published by Elf Creek Games. Honey Buzz has received quite a bit of good buzz recently, if I can call it that, excuse the pun, for its component quality as well as the bits and pieces that are inside, which have been very well received as far as I can tell. We'll also be unboxing the Deluxe component expansion or pack, whatever you want to call it, with this as well. So we'll start with the base game itself. We'll have a look at what's inside, what comes in it. I'm expecting good things generally. And then we'll open up the Deluxe components box and we'll see what are the pieces that are upgraded. And I'll probably try to end just with a quick side-by-side comparison of the upgraded bits versus the same bits that you would get in the standard version in here, so that you can compare and contrast and see whether A, this is worth getting for you or not, and then B, what you can expect if you were to pick one of these up for yourself as well. So let's go to the table and we'll open both of these up and see what's inside. All right, folks, so here we go. We'll move this to the side and we'll start with the game itself. So generally, it's a pretty nice, attractive looking cover. Seems to have a good amount of sort of like color on it. The artwork is nice. And yeah, not really much else to say beyond that. You can see it for yourself. The game, of course, is designed by Paul Salomon, with artwork by Anne Hitzek. Hopefully, I apologize if I'm getting that wrong. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it correctly. And design of the artwork, I'm not really sure what the difference between these two are, but you also have a contribution, obviously, from Jason D. Kingsley, and published by Elf Creek Games. We'll flip this over very quickly, and gives you a quick overview of what you can expect to see inside the box. We'll obviously open this up and see this for ourselves as well. It is rated for 1 to 4 players, expected to be played in about 45 to 90 minutes, so maybe about an hour, hour and a half, give or take. And yeah, let's crack this open and see what comes inside the box. Now, this is the first Elf Creek game that I sort of like have for myself, so I'm really excited to get a sense of the quality of the components that comes in it. So off we go. Here we have the box. Now, you do have these grooves, well, front and back, that help you take this off a little bit easier, but I'm more of a sideways person, so here we go. The inside is plain with a bit of a honeycomb structure, so that's nice. Nice little touch. Lots of baggies, cards. We'll come to this perhaps a little bit later and have a look at that. Components. Now, these look like, well, not stones, I don't know, nuggets almost. So you have different colors, brown, gray, 2 shades of brown actually, gold, and orange inside as well. So yeah, so that's the first bit that we can see right there. These look like different player pieces perhaps, because these are in different colors. I can see 4 of these in here, so perhaps in 4 different player colors. Let's maybe open up yellow, and that will give us a sense on what we can expect in all of these generally. Oops, we'll pick that up in a sec. But these, I guess, are bees. These are wooden pieces, obviously. Now, I don't know if you can tell or not. Now, this is not... sorry, I'm going to do this. The lines that you can see here, this is not really printed on it. This actually looks like it's cut through, because I can make out very, just barely, sort of like the light coming in from the other side. So that is a very interesting little touch. Again, let's see if I can see. Oh. So there you can see my finger in the background. And as soon as I move that out, it gets a bit hazy, but you can see the white background light of sort of like coming in from the other side. So yeah, it's pretty neat. All right, so we'll move this to the side. Now these, I assume, are pretty much the same thing. I'll maybe just open this one up very quickly, because there's 2 pieces in here that are different in color. which makes me wonder if these are actually player pieces or something else. So let's maybe have a look at one of these. So it's pretty much the same thing, just slightly bigger in size almost. Yeah. All right. So far, so good. We're off to a decent start. Now it looks like we have a whole bunch of different resource components by the look of things. We'll dump this out. All right. Let's see. Now, what is this? Oh. They seem to be sticky. They are a bit sticky. These are not exactly, I mean, they might look from a distance like sort of like glass beads, similar to how you might expect from, viticulture, for example. But these are not. These are squishy. They were a little bit sticky inside the bag as well. They were just attaching to one another. Overall texture is pretty nice. Not a very large volume of these in the bag, but the quality is definitely there. So next up, looks like similar quality pieces, just slightly different shape, perhaps. Yeah, so this is squishy as well. Slightly dark in color, different shape. So these are perhaps just the different kind of resources maybe that come in the game itself. And again, these are all pretty sticky. Yeah, squishy as well. Somewhat star-shaped. Not very even, but it's all right. I guess given the fact that these are squishy, like I said, maybe the shape is a little bit more pliable, and I don't know if that makes it likely to change over time or not, but yeah. And more of these. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. We know the drill, squishy and whatnot, so yeah. Right, what do we have next? A rulebook, and you know what? I'll tell you this, the texture on this, I like it. This reminds me a little bit of Wingspan kind of thing going on. It's very nicely textured. You can hear the sound, right? Hopefully that's not too annoying for any of you, but yeah, so list of components. Game setup looks to be illustrated pretty nicely. Continues on. Quick overview. Game sequence. Take a tile. Recall workers. Hive actions that you can do. Queen's content. End of game. Final scoring. Advanced variant. I know there should be a solo variant in here as well, and speak of the devil, the solitaire variant is right here. Contest guide. Hey, maybe we can tell what the difference there was. Graphic design and illustration. So Anne was responsible for illustration and Jason was for graphic design. So got that cleared up. All right. We'll move this to the side. Now we have a bunch of punch boards. These are punching out quite well, and these are pretty decent thickness as well. So hopefully you can make that out. Overall, I definitely like the look of these so far. So this is good. This is punching out well, good thickness. There honestly isn't really much more you can ask from cardboard punch outs at that point. Then you have these larger tiles, again, punching out pretty easily, as you can see. Got the whole set right there. This is a board of sorts. It's a bit of a verticality going on in here. Well, not vertical. Well, I think it's horizontal, isn't it? I think it is. Yeah. And it is double-sided. I don't know if it's... I mean, it seems like it might just be the same thing. Is it? Let's see. No, there's a bit of a difference. So here you can see two different spots. One spot. I don't know what it means in terms of gameplay, but not identical is the verdict. So there we go. more cardboard stuff. We're not going to go through all of these because I think we've already gotten a good sense of what's in here. But again, continues the trend of punching out pretty easily. And yep, more unique looking resources. I don't know if these are points or counters of sorts, but nice. You got acorns, paws, whole bunch of different stuff. And there's something called unused as well. I don't know what that is. Maybe you just don't need it. More of that. Yep. All right. So that's that with the cardboard punch outs. And then lastly, we have, well, two things actually, by the look of things. So we have this. Are these like their home bases, or I don't know what this does. So you have 4 of these, and then you have this marker. Might be a first player marker, maybe. I don't know. But I like the artwork on it. It's nice, colorful. Yep. And this, I assume, is the main game board. So we'll quickly pan across so that you can see it properly. It's held pretty close to the camera. It's not really that big. So do not assume by the panning that it is a pretty wide board. It's not. It is wide, but it's reasonably sized. So spots for different hexes for you to put in some sort of a table where you're maybe putting things down at different values, perhaps spots for cards. And is this double-sided? Yes, it is. And I can automatically see a bit of a difference on this one right here. This is more of a full-size grid. This looks to have a few of these missing, so maybe different player counts? I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. So there you go. That's the game board, and we're pretty much at the end of the box itself. I'll take a quick minute, organize all of this stuff, and we'll come back and have a look at the deluxe components. All right, so we're back, and here we have the deluxe components. But before we get cracking into that, I realized we forgot to take a look at this. So we'll quickly look at this before we get into that. I was able to take a couple of minutes and move a few of the pieces off to the side. It gives us a bit of space at the center of the table to lay these out. So hopefully you guys don't mind that too much. So these are the back of the cards. And the reason why I want to start with this is just to see if there are different kind of cards. And I'm going to make a wild guess and say, yeah, there are different kind of cards in here. So off we go. So this is horizontal. So it looks like, I don't know, maybe you get certain points when you turn certain resources in. I'm just guessing. These look like accomplishments or things that you might do over the course of the game. You know, highest honey and pollen, wildflower, 2 nectar of each type. So it might be somewhat like a mixture of objective cards, order card, rosemary, most nectar, most orders, different patterns. Again, more VP cards, more order cards. So first of all, I mean, it's mixed up in a way that it looks like there are lots of different type of cards that honestly there are at the end of the day. There are a few different order cards by the look of things in here and a few different objective cards and whatnot. So there are a few different kind of cards, but not the wide diversity you would have expected by looking at this at the start. But generally speaking, the artwork is quite nice and attractive. It's there's a good level of detail that's going on in here. Cardstock is all right. Texture is good as well. Nice artwork generally. I like that. Oh, would you look at that? Honey is good. I like the artwork on this. It's nice. It's just a good mixture of a good level of detail, good quality, just nice touches overall. Yeah. All right. So there you go. These are the cards that came with the game. Now we'll put this to the side and get cracking with the deluxe components. All right. How does this work? Oh. So it opens a bit like that, and then a bit more like that. So there's a bit of a wrapping going on. It's not a solid box, which you'll realize very quickly. It's more just paper folded in, basically. So you have the deluxe components. At the back of the box tells you what you can expect in here. But we'll keep that a secret because we're going to look at it ourselves right now. So, first off, well, this looks like that the honey marker piece that we had seen, just upgraded. I think that's what it is. And this is wooden, by the way, just so that you guys know. It's not resin or plastic. This is a wooden piece. Nice. What else do we have in here? There's a good amount of heft in this one. I don't know if this is what this is. It doesn't feel quite like plastic. It's I feel more like pebbles holding it in my hand. Huh. Hopefully you can make out the sound as well. All right. I don't know what these are, but I like the looks of it. And then these are just extras of the piece that we had seen earlier, so I'm not gonna spend time going into this. But we do have this. What, you may ask, is this? I do not know what this is because I've not played the game. But these are nice. These are wooden. These are printed on both sides. Yeah. All right. And then we have a bag of, well, tiles, I think. Oh, these might be the cardboard pieces, some of the cardboard pieces that are upgraded, I assume. Yeah, and these are definitely plastic tiles, so you can make the sound out as well. Printed on both sides. Yeah. I like the quality of it. It feels, what's a good way of putting it? It feels substantial. I mean, not heavy or anything of that sort, but not cheap, right? So that's good. That's the kind of feel that you want to go for, obviously. Oops. And then, by the look of things, these are just more of those. Yeah. And that's pretty much what's in the deluxe components box. I'll take a quick minute. What I'll do is I'll do a quick comparison of these with the standard version, and we'll come back and compare them side by side so that we know what are the actual pieces that are upgraded. All right, folks. So I've been able to assemble the upgrade pieces side by side with the standard one, so we can have a quick look at it and see what are the pieces that have actually been upgraded as part of the deluxe components box. So let's go through the list very quickly and look at the items side by side. So first of all, you have the first player marker. So that is obviously this. In the base game, this is a cardboard piece. And then in the deluxe box, you get a wooden piece instead of it. So that's the one upgrade that's right there. Next up, you have the acrylic nectar tiles that have been upgraded. So those are these. So in the base game, you get these as cardboard punch outs. So they look like these, the ones that we said were thick and chunky and were punching out quite nicely. These are double-sided, obviously, as you can see. And these are now replaced by these, which are also double-sided. And they do replicate both sides of these accurately enough. So for example, I had comparable ones taken out. So this is the front. So standard version, the deluxe version, this is what the front of it looks like. And if we flip it over, the back of it. So the artwork is pretty much the same, except you have cardboard and you have plastic tiles on the other. So This is obviously nicer, feels nicer. These are not stickers that are put on it, these are printed on it, so it's pretty decent quality. But again, if you have the standard one, it's pretty decent in its own right. So that's there. So that's the neck details right there. Next up, we have 15 resin pollen pieces, and that's what these are. So in the base game, if you remember at the very start, we had to look at these. These are the different pollen pieces based on different colors. And honestly, I would not even have thought that these needed to be upgraded, but obviously somebody thought that it did because we now have this instead. So I'll do a quick side-by-side comparison, perhaps with one piece. What is this? Green. And I guess this might be the comparable. So you can decide for yourself if you're happy with this or if you want this. This is obviously chunky. We had said that it felt substantial. But again, these are pretty nice in its own right. Yeah. Or if you want to have a quick look at another yellow or golden, whatever you want to call it, and then its comparable is this. So these are the pollen pieces that are upgraded in there. Going through the list very quickly. Next up, we have 4 fuzzy forage beeples. So these are, and this is where I had said that this looks like pretty much the same piece that we had in the standard game, but they're not, because these have a velvety texture on it. This is not a standard wooden meeple. This is solid, it's velvety, it feels nice. Yeah, I don't know what else to say beyond that, except for the fact that you can substitute now one of your pieces with something that feels more plush. I almost feel bad playing with these, to be honest, because I'm worried about the texture perhaps getting damaged over time. But there you go. It's a nice addition to the game. And last but not the least, we have 4 wooden fan meeples. So in the original base game, these were, again, cardboard punch outs, double-sided. Again, thick cardboard, punching out quite well. Didn't seem like bad items in there, but of course you can upgrade any cardboard items with wooden pieces these days. And so you have these standard, upgraded. All right, there you go. So that's the comparison of the standard versus the deluxe bits side by side. Let's go back to the table and I'll quickly share my final thoughts and comments on the unboxing. All right, folks, so that was pretty much the unboxing for Honeybuzz. Now it looks a bit scattered right here. I'll get this organized in a minute. But I wanted to take a couple of seconds and just share my thoughts very quickly on the components and what my first impressions were of the different pieces that come in the game box itself. So first of all, the components that you get in the base game of Honeybuzz, and again, keep in mind, this is the retail version that I picked up. So this is not a Kickstarter deluxe version or anything of that sort. The deluxe bits came in a separate box, which we had a look at separately right here. So I'm going to talk about this one firstly. Very, very good quality overall. The quality of the cardboard is top-notch. Quality of a lot of the pieces that came in the game were pretty good to begin with in this standard edition of the box itself. The rulebook just feels plush in terms of the texture of the paper that it's printed on. It's almost has like a plasticky feel to it, as it were. The artwork is very, very impressive. It's definitely got its theme nailed, sort of like it's gotten its theme quite right in terms of the aesthetics of the artwork that you see in there. The quality is A-grade overall throughout all of this. The card quality were good. The artwork on the card was good. The artwork on the board is good. Overall, I cannot think any negative things to say about the quality of the production itself in any way, shape, or form. Now, so that's this. It's a very easy one to recommend and say that the quality of the components are A-grade in this. So if you like the game, you're going to be more than happy with the production that comes with it. Now, do you need the deluxe components or not? Honestly, at the end of the day, that's a question for you to answer. Hopefully, I've given you a good sense of A, obviously what comes in it, but also B, what are the exact pieces that are upgraded. So, the side by side that we did with the standard versus the deluxe components. So that hopefully gives you a good sense of what's actually upgraded in the box. So you can decide for yourself whether that's something you need. Obviously, it adds to the cost of the game. The cost of the game is for you, like if you just pick this up along with that, the cost of the game is going to go up by maybe 65-70% just to have this. So honestly, only you can decide at the end of the day if this is worth it for you or not. If you want the best experience that you can have, obviously, sure, get it. But I would say even if you have the base game, honestly, it's good enough for most people. Even a lot of the upgraded pieces in there, as I was looking at it, I'm like, do I need that upgrade? Like, if you talk about these fallen pieces, right? I don't know if I need that. And that's not a criticism of what's in the deluxe box. This is very, very good. It's just the base game stuff is pretty good as well. So, right? So just keep that lens on. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Hopefully, if you pick it up, you now have a good sense of what to expect inside the box when you open it up. And if you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, please feel free to leave them down below. I'll get to them as soon as I can. And in the meanwhile, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.